our rule of law, because at the end of the day, you discover that when they do all this shit, they already have the judiciary comfortably sitting, waiting for them to bring the case so that they can just just pass it in favor of the presidency. So now we need to start looking at those people. If it is a situation whereby we can put pressure on INEC, that senators or representatives can be recalled, because in that process of work during Natasha time, if not for the grace of God and His people that stood their ground, that they are not ready for that data, He must be there, that woman would have been gone by now. So that means that section that is representative and anybody in the National Assembly can be recalled is that effective, but it's just that same them is blocking that process from happening. So we need to start putting pressure on some areas that can help us achieve all these things. Because no matter how much we debate on this tax bill, we'll debate till the next election come. Because I don't think because of the noise we are making online, it's like they're putting support. You can see the body language of the presidency, at the same time the executive of the National Assembly. And they are not ready to even listen to the protest of the people. They are just watching online, just like I said. They've always seen us as these online noisemakers. Because by now, this is how many days now we are still talking, and nobody, not even the Senate, and not even the kids. I've not even seen somebody taking them to the court, taking the National Assembly and the presidency to court. Nobody's doing that. So many things are not just in line. So please, let's begin to put more effort now on how to see how we can put Senate and judiciary into accountability. We've done a lot for the presidency, but there are people that are actually backing the presidency, because at the end of the day, everything that the presidency is going to do, we still have to pass through the legislative and at the same time still end up in the judiciary. So whatever we say, they can just claim that after all, the legislative passed it and the judiciary affirmed it. So why are we making noise? And that is the fact. In the eyes of the law, they didn't commit anything illegal. If the legislative courts and the judiciary affirmed. So please, that is just my own point of view. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you allow me pause now, you just give me calls like 1 hour. I never talk.
No, I didn't give you calls. Relax, wait. I didn't give you calls. I only gave you calls because there was no more space to bring you up. So rest your mouth.
But let me just
have like go on.
As a pause, let me just have like 2 minutes of a pause. I think I've listened to Ima Abbas, the last speaker. Everybody's on point. But you said, these are impeachable offenses. Unfortunately, we're going on Christmas break. So these guys, whether it's the Senate that's going to be impeaching somebody or the House of Reps, they are going on holiday, and they have left us now.
What's going on?
Can't hear co-host though.
That co-host na error.
Hold on,
Right? Doesn't make
Hold on, Karen. Yusuf, go on. All right. I always knew this guy.
I beg, I want Afolabi to speak. I'm
all right. So yeah, so we'll get to Afolabi shortly. Let's have internal. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear it or no? Me, I can't hear it or no. Now they hear him.
What did they do me? Now they do it. Select of what they do and
drop and come down. No, just go on like that. Go on.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. You see, me, I don't this tax whatever and see. You can, if you the more you think about it, the more you get depressed, because I don't know how we want to explain these things. How people that support the government want to explain it. Tinubu has this arrogancy problem. Right from time. Yeah, you don't want to, when people say, it is this thing, it is Tinubu that say they should put it here. It is him. He cannot, if he say it should not be there, it should not be there. Whether we want to sugarcoat it and put it on the head of appointee or by nature is somebody
What if
that
na
is
not
very
if na
evil.
just one overzealous civil servant? Besides,
No overzealous any no dey sugarcoat this thing. No, there's no overzealous anything there. If there's any overzealous anybody there, presidency should have made a statement by now. And there is no how you a law that is as important as this. You will not tell me that wow. No, we should not. We should try as much as possible not to be hiding under anything again. The president is particular about this thing. This is there are some policies, programs, laws, but that is directly from the head of the presidency or from the executive. I want it to be like this. Nobody can change it. That is how this thing works. And whenever they want to push this thing, we have I don't know whether we call it wicked or weak or toothless elites. We have a very bad elite system that politicians have used it as a loophole, and we now have very bad followership system that they can just throw up something and everybody will just be playing around that thing and they are doing their stuff.
Aruna,
When they wanted to,
sorry for coming in. Just quickly, no vex. Now, wait till you just talk. Just make me remember something. So, Tinubu has we always say that they are rubber stamp now. He has Senate, he has this thing. Just recently, when he went there, deep voice today, they still sang Mandy song, their anthem. So what is stopping him from just going back to this place that, oh, I need this thing amended, and they will do it quickly? Why this approach?
you need what I mean. They said I wants to have he want. Look, the tax law on this number has serious implication on everybody. Everybody. Now, let me what I wanted to say before. When they wanted to push the subsidy removal thing, right? They told you that they anchor it on the weakness of Muhammadu Buhari. So everybody was focused on, oh, Buhari is this, Buhari is that, this that. When it started hitting everybody, time don't go. When they wanted to liberalize assets, they hang it on Emefiele and his inability of controlling the economy. Oh, Emefiele printed. Everybody was talking about ways and means, printing, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, before anybody can come back, everything don't spoil. Now, when the tax bill started, everybody was holding. Oh, when the first people that object to it was the northern elders that came together and look at the bills and point out some certain things. We did not look at the legitimacy of what they were saying or whatever. The whole internet was like, oh, the not as this, the not as that, blah blah blah, until we saw a breakdown of that came out, and people start asking questions. Now, the new defense on the internet now is that, oh, it is only the northern legislators that are talking about it. So they already understand. When you start seeing those narratives coming out, it is not coming out from the people's head. If you check the people that are pushing this, these are the people that have sold their brain. Somebody will just impute what they want to say and it will start moving on like haywire. And we are, because of the kind of system we are operating, we can't control ourselves to some certain extent. Look, Tinubu by default, sorry I'm calling his I have not called his name on space like this. I'm doing this time, but I need to do it like this. When during the primaries, from when we were choosing who we want to support, even if you don't have the power to vote, we said someone like me, Osibanjo, Amechi, then Tinubu. And the reason why I did not even wanted him before is that he is very, very, very. He is a very rigid somebody that feels that only his ideas supersede every other idea. So no matter how efficient you are, no matter how intentional you are, when what you are saying contradicts what he believes in, every other thing goes. That is why when people are talking about this appointee, I'm just like, a president is as an appointee or a minister is as good as what the president gives him to do. So whether we talk about all these things here, it's all, but look, I am afraid of protest, because protest, especially now that we have high security issues, has this way of creating and causing more security. But I don't know why Tinubu is taking people for a ride. I know how a lot of people are trying to suppress protest. It's not because they like Tinubu, or it's just because they allow people to come out in mass because of the frustration people have now. It will be worse. It will be worse than whatever we have seen on the street. But there's a limit to how people can even control their people. That's why the first time I saw an emir soliloquizing in his vehicle very bitterly when we were coming out from government house. People will not understand. You might not understand. When some have been saying it, some people say, "Why?" I say, like what is his name? He has always been a liar. I don't like people from the big four. I've been saying it. People will tell me that, anybody that is talking about data too much, but I don't like the person as far as Nigeria is concerned, because they will use it to manipulate
But he's
people's
saying
head.
that if we suspend this thing, Nigerians will suffer more.
That is what have you ever seen any time when someone will tell you that, they are reducing tax, but the Tinubu will reduce what will affect his revenue, and they'll be listing things that ordinarily.
But Aruna, did they reduce it in Lagos? Aruna, maybe he reduced it in Lagos. We are thinking it's going to do this.
No, when people are saying, when people want to talk about these things on spaces and Twitter, I'll be thinking that, is it that people, these guys are normal, or they are they have some certain back channel things that they are benefiting that we don't know. Because whenever they defend these things and the effect of this policy start backfiring, they will start looking for one person to hold on to. Then we'll take last time was telling us that 52% of his money is going for tax. For people today, we will still be blaming Dangote that is using 52% to pay tax. So if you remove 52% from 10,000, how much is this thing? They will support it. But when the blowback comes, nobody should talk about Tinubu. Tinubu is innocent. Now, during the time of this woman, what is her name? Kemi brought 23 million persons into the tax net. Nobody even know that anything happens. If you want to bring people into the tax net, it is simple now. You know how to do it. In 2017, 23 persons new entry into the tax net came in. And what is tax? You don't tax the poor. So when people naturally are earning, they don't even care how much you take about from their tax. But why is it that you are not pushing a law, a controversial law that everybody is telling you that this is what is happening, you say you must do it. Normally, low-income earners, like what they call them, minimum wage, low minimum wage earners, they don't pay tax. So once you increase minimum wage, it means that you must amend that part and put them out of the tax net. That is how it's supposed to be now. So why are you coming to tell us that, this tax reform is one new thing that people below this? It has always been like that. Why not do that one and do it? If you want to increase VAT, increase VAT. If you want to do, what is the nuisance, whatever you are telling me that I was born and brought up in school in Nigeria, that you are doing a tax reform that will make people pay less? Where has it worked? Where has it worked before?
So I don't know. As you round up here, the argument of some of our friends is that if you don't pay tax, you will not have good road. You see that trending video of Niger road. Where is that road? I was looking so terrible. So if you don't pay tax, you will not be able to get this, world-class facility. You want to live in a first world country, but you want to be paying taxes of a third world country. How do you expect progress, Aruna?
The thing is, what me I always tell them, so all of us we are in this country together. So if you are supporting anything blindly, that is your business. But at the end of the day, according to Mr. Daniel, he will always tell you that economic bar, economy doesn't care about your feelings. You go fit cook book, you can cook books, right? You can bring out figures, you can do everything. But when the time comes for reality, it will be staring you at your face. For 3 years, we have not been able to meet 3 budgets. Is it 2 or 3? We carry over 2023 to 2024. We carry 2024 to 2025. Now we are moving 2025 to 2023. What does it tell you about your reform? It tells you that your reform is making you not to be able to meet up your obligations. That is it. Because the reason why you carry over is because you are unable to raise funds to finance those things. Currently, in 2025, 1.5 trillion have not been paid to 2,000 contractors. And at the end of the day, the president said we had 18 trillion naira in revenue in 2025. The Minister of Finance said we have 10 in 2025. Now, if you want to take the highest of it, which is the one the president presented on the floor from the Senate, compare it with all other budgets that we have been using, or other administration, you see that by converting whatever conversion rates that we want to do, it still remains one of the poorest budgets revenue we have generated within the 25 years of our existence. If you want to do the comparison, this is not me. This is not my own data. This is not my figure that I'm quoting. It is what the president quoted. 18 trillion out of 40, and they say it is 61, represents 61%. I don't know how they use mathematics. Me, I don't know how they used to do mathematics. So if you are supporting somebody, look, I always tell you that me, I don't have issue with you supporting people, whether blind or age. Your brain should tell you simple mathematics. That is why we all went to school. That is why we passed through the rigor of exams in multiple courses or multiple subjects. So you did math, you did a little bit of math and statistics in school, you did a little bit of entrepreneurship, and somebody will be cooking figure for you, and they will tell you should not speak because you are not an economist. Your reforms are working, and you cannot pay contractors. I heard Mr. Daniel in the last phase was saying, "Oh, it is better for you to. It is better. Why did he put it than to print?" And that one is another for another day. They have not told us today the difference between ways and means and money printing, and if actually ways and means is an instrument of government financing also. So for those people that are saying whatever they are saying, fine, the opposition should start doing what.
So are you joining the opposition, or you're on defense? Since now you mentioned the opposition.
Sorry, call me. If they allow people
Yes,
to come out to the street,
I'm
I'll
asking a
round up
question,
now.
Aruna.
I'll round up by this one. I'll round up by this. If they-
You get call and you still want to round up. Aruna, just pick your call. But when you come back, you can answer. I want to know if you're part of the coalition, part of the opposition. I wanted to say this, but if I was in Abuja this morning, I would have gone for that protest because this one pay me. I don't have that, revolutionary mindset to go out for protest. I used to fight with them. Duro Timi that time of space on why I feel protest is like the third option. I think Duro Timi and Sino Shaw. You understand? But if I don't have that mindset, because of the way this thing pay me, I would have done that protest. I saw the invitation this morning. I've not even followed the
How's the
timeline to
protest
see whether
going?
the protest.
It's not too late.
No, I just, bros, Bros, I
And
just
if
got
it's
a DM.
not going.
I just got a DM. I'm in Zaria. I'm not in Abuja. So I got a DM this morning. There's a protest. So I wish I was in Abuja. I would have joined. That's my personal opinion. But having said that, I was speaking earlier on before my network dropped me. I said, since we already know that there's a problem, whether before the president signed or after he signed, these guys have messed up. They've changed the law. And I was looking at it that if they've changed the law in a reasonable manner, and we are going on holidays. We're going tomorrow. There's no work. I think public holiday. There's 3 days. So these guys are on recess, and they've done this mess, and they're leaving us to look at this thing. So all this noise about the president is not aware, blah blah blah, gazetted. Because me, I went to an APC stage, and I asked the question. I was like, it's already 18th of December. I'm already preparing myself for the tax to January next year. I said I've already moved on from that. But I heard a story that somebody said gazetted version is different from the one they passed. And on that space, thank God that space was recorded. The person replied and said, yes, once out of breath from PDP just raised some kind of buzz, blah, blah, blah. That was the answer I got. And those were the kind of answers that I was with Abbas yesterday on the other space. These were the kind of answers he was getting because Abbas said the informant pay a lot of money as well. They had a lot of money, but before you now formalize them, the laws will be too stringent for them. They said no, they should go and formalize their business. If they like, they should not borrow business account. They should not go and open a business account or company account. If they like, that they will meet them in court. Those were the plans. They get it. I'm screaming. I can't speak now. I'll speak
Joseph.
later.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you, Yusuf. All right. Thank you. Itunu, please go.
Okay, I'm out now.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. That is affecting our network in Abuja.
You should have been part of that protest. Too. What are you doing here?
Yes, if I did, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. I'm not in that protest. That protest is bad timing. I have to be honest. I'm speaking. I think this is ADC coalition, ADC forum. So I want to speak as an ADC member. Everybody has spoken about that bad and ADC. Yes, I agree with that. And let me just somebody, I think it was spoken earlier that somebody said you pay tax, you enjoy more social media. We've paying all this while, and I provide electricity for myself via solar generator. We pay vigilante. Even in Lagos, every street is fenced. You pay for vigilante. So nobody is protecting anybody. We protect ourselves. We sunk our own borehole. Government water is not running in Abuja for 2 weeks. We don't have electricity again. So what is the essence of paying tax? They want to be paying. Where is the benefit? And it brings me to somebody said the president was fully aware. There's nobody that can go and alter an already signed bill. Nobody dares it in this country. In fact, it's not doable. So that alteration was started before the there is nobody, there's no anybody under heaven to go and alter. And it's not possible. It can't. So that even the president himself cannot alter it after signing it. He has to go back to the National Assembly. That's the law. It's an impeachable offense. So that bill was altered before. In fact, I have the harmonized copy. I have the harmonized copy of the bill, and I've gone through it. So, and everybody has been speaking about it. But my problem now is ADC as a corporation with look of serious. I don't will let these guys are going to break tomorrow. The National Assembly. They are going to break tomorrow, and they'll be resuming January ending, either January 27 or something like that. But by tradition, it's January. But this is the first. It was because the budget was presented on Friday. They will have gone on recess last week and to resume January. And by extension, they might also extend. 2026 is a year of politics for everybody. So I said, but if they go tomorrow, they back January 26. And as I speak now, they have already set up a committee to review that that
alterations. The alterations.
This have set up even in the house of. Go and check the list of him. I replied Ima on his post when the list of the people that was set, the list of the members of the committee reviewed your qualification in the rep. Check Bitara. These are core APC.
Hallelujah, boy.
These are hallelujah, exactly. If I don't know hallelujah, boy, they are die. So just take the list of the committee. So I expect nothing. So what I expect is for we Nigerians, most especially the opposition, to rise up. So they are coming back to their advice. Some of them, I don't make a some of them might not even go home. So we should enter the street. So ADC is now organized, even not for social media, for people who do not even make this organizing protest. ADC is organizing a protest. This protest, listen, for this protest to work, I'm talking as an ADC because I'm angry with the party. I'm a member of ADC, but I'm angry with the party on this particular.
You're a member of what?
ADC. I'm angry with this because by now, the timing for the protest is wrong. One, the mood of the country, Christmas, people don't travel, people don't. For DNOT, people want to go and see their loved ones. If we are to organize it, the protest should be simultaneous, lockdown, national lockdown, not Abuja protest. Abuja is still empty now. I drive the street of Abuja now. Although we live in Abuja, people don't move. I'm looking surprised that Dress Assembly are still, not because of the budget. So they just want to do this before they come back tomorrow. By now, the Abuja is practically empty. So what is the essence of protest? The protest should be simultaneous so that the right message can be passed to people. Because this lawmaker either will like it or not, they will go back to their constituency. Let us hold them in their constituency when they come in January and say, okay, this is one I do. Make we stone them. That is when they will know that this thing is so. But if we easy like
sorry for interjecting. The idea I go for the protest was not for Abuja as a whole. I think the protest was at the National Assembly. That's the idea I got.
Hold on.
What's all about Abuja? Because I've not got anything now. Can you update us on the protest? Because I don't know about the protest.
The protest is not from ADC headquarters to National Assembly. So what is that effective?
Okay, fine. No, you know when people start saying, "Oh, that protest messed up," I was already scared that maybe from Udlum hijacked people, they shot people. I was scared already. Okay, but better. No, that's fantastic. If there are no casualties, it's normal. Because if I was in Abuja, I would join that protest. This is a slap on our nationality. This is a slap. This is a slap on democracy. This is a slap. I go meet you. I go meet you. At the post. Today you begin no
No,
There is car.
no, hold on. You see, for some of us, I work National Assembly for 9 years, so I know how these guys work. Yes, they will stop you at the Mopo gate. Thank God, Iman is there. And so they will stop you at the Mopo gate. Those lawmakers, there are two other entries from the business side and from the SGF side. They will pass and go. So they will stop you. So the protest is not going to be effective if all Nigerians, all not ADC members, do not come to this protest. We need to take this protest to the street. See, this either if we just keep starting on Twitter or social media, blah blah blah, this thing will come to the street. If we did not take this protest like the way they did the fuel subsidy in 2012, my dear brother, this thing will come to and nothing will happen. So we need to come together as a people and as a opposition should be able to galvanize themselves so that this protest can go around. It should be simultaneous. As it happen for Kano, maybe happen for Calabar, maybe happen for maybe happen for Lagos, Ibadan, Otangora.
Unfortunately, that cannot happen, so let's be realistic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Yusuf, rest. By the way, guys, please throw flowers, stone them flowers, not stone. Like, they, we are not advocating for stoning people's stone here. All right. Let's move on. I think next person should be
I never talk. Oh.
okay. Hold on, Abbas. Matthew, you came up. Do you want to quickly speak because I need to prioritize new speakers?
I
Matthew,
just want to ask our people in the north, what is the awareness like? What is BBC Hausa saying? Because this has to do with information. Yusuf, what is it like in Zaria? Is BBC Hausa saying anything? Is Radio Kaduna saying anything? Is where the awareness should start from? Not because it seems you are the only
Unfortunately,
ones on social media just laughing. People in Nigeria don't know what is happening, right?
unfortunately, I think the northern part, APC has majority. That's my take. So it was the northern APC that gave Tinubu. So I think those guys, they know exactly what is going on, but because of uh, you know their stance, it's already 2026. It's politics. They are going to politicize this thing to the last letter because Tinubu has made everything about politics. So my answer for you, Matthew, would be like, I don't think the Northerners will do this. Oh, blah blah blah. They already know because I've seen Dambelo's video on this matter. The
I
Northern,
disagree with you, Yusuf. I
yeah,
disagree.
I can tell. I can tell you last week. Let me say this. I can tell you.
disagree with you.
disagree with you on
Yes, let me speak.
I
Let me speak.
disagree with you, Yusuf.
You can disagree, but let me speak. I saw an article last week on the Arewa Consultative Forum already on this bill as regards ties with France. So that document is already with them. So, like the last speaker said, if the Arewa Youth Forum are actually working with the Arewa Consultative Forum, I think they should be part of that protest in Abuja this morning. I think they should be there. But like I said, we're not serious. But this has come. And again, before this was passed into law, the controversies that went down. Professor Zulum went to Channels TV, AIT, all the governors are going from Channels to TVC, trying to explain this thing, right? It's on the timeline, it's even on the mainstream media, not on the social media. Indomie was going up and down. We knew what happened. So please, stop playing with our intelligence. Matthew, I cannot answer your question. The Northerners, they know what they are doing.
there was also a video that was circulating, and this was on the House, I think, House of Representatives procedures to, and harmonize. I just thought I should add that as well.
National Conference Committee was constituted with the responsibility to ensure a final review of the bills and harmonize any differences for forward transmission to the President or his assets. The Harmonization Committee conference took place Thursday, 22nd of 2023, May 2025. Following deliberations, the differences in the bills were unanimously resolved, and the chambers are therefore aligned on a single version of all four distinct bills considered during the conference. So the key differences.
So basically, this article from Dawisu that accompanied this video said that the National Assembly adopted an unusual but deliberate approach. 40 senators and 40 members of the House of Rep were nominated, and each state represented by one senator and one rep minimum. These 80 lawmakers spent a full week at Hilton Hotel with logistics sponsored by FIRS, jointly harmonizing the tax bill line by line. At the end of that exercise, there was no parallel House or Senate versions. Both chambers were presented with the same single harmonized tax bill. That identical document was laid before the House and debated and passed by both chambers. This was the version transmitted to the president and subsequently assented to. So this basically was, of this whole conversation of, perhaps maybe the honorable Dasuki guy was referencing some other, you know, bill or some other law rather than the one that was harmonized and then sent to the executive. But it does look like, I think that particular conversation has now moved now. Nobody, the narrative, I guess, has been defeated. So the question now, or what some of our APC brothers are now saying is that even if it was tampered with, should we, because of one little error, discard a very, very sound document? Afolabi, please.
Thank you, Deji. Now, the first thing I want to address, I don't, I listened to Tayo Dele's conversation on China.
I don't know why is everybody missing this guy's name. This guy is a world-renowned tax man. His name is Taiwo.
It's Taiwo, so I don't know why I call it Tayo. It's Taiwo Dele. So his conversation on China, as I watched that, and there was no time he admitted that there was any alteration. What he was saying there was, even if there was, this is what he feels. That was his own personal opinion. So he did not go on channels to admit that anything was altered. Now, a lot of people have come on these spaces that are saying Tinubu is introducing, they want to tax the poor. No, that is not. Let's remove the name out of this. We have an existing tax law in Nigeria. So whether you agree with what is now or you're still going to pay taxes, what this law has done is to reform, make it better, make it more progressive. So that is what's happening. The Minister of Information has come out and said the government followed due process and there's only one version of the law. I would rather believe Minister than all these conspiracy theories that have just been flying around the place. I mean, this is just like talking about the moon landing. The Americans land on the moon in 1969. This is what the conversation has turned it into. So I would rather believe the minister. Now, somebody talked about, there's this law there whereby, the tax authority will arrest you, kill you. I don't think that's true. I really don't think that's true. That is, I mean, how can the tax authority become its own law enforcement officer? No, I don't think that is true. But I need to go and investigate that myself. But what I know is that tax authorities around the world, they have certain powers which they use via the courts. That's one of the ways to fight corruption. When you see a lot of funds going through certain accounts, people then the tax authority have the powers to come here and tell you, Mr. Oga, what is going on here? That is why you have criminals always prefer to use cash. And now you now use cryptocurrency. And there are instances where you call, I mean, in some tax application, you call somebody to come and do work for you. The guy will tell you, you know what? If you pay me by cash, I will charge you less. But if you pay me directly through the normal channels to my bank account, I have to charge you the standard price because that's a lot expensive tax authority. So this is all to modernize the Nigerian tax system, to make things progressive. So what the government is trying to do here is pay as you earn. So the more you earn, the more you pay. If you pay less, if you earn less, you don't pay. So it's a progressive tax system. I think we should all get behind this. It's happy days. Jobs are going to be created. It's going to help us fight corruption. All I see is green light, green light, green light, green light. So let us just get behind it. That's what I find out.
All right, Afolabi. So I get the angle you are coming from, but again, you always miss that is not accurate. Whether tax authorities have the power or whether they should not have the power, that is beside the point. The point is all these things that has been captured in the gazetted law, were they the clauses or were they the sections or whatever you want to call it that were passed from the National Assembly? It's as simple as that. Unless you are saying it shouldn't matter.
No. Based on government's position, what they said is they follow the due process. What all those committees put together is what was sent up and what the government signed. So based on that, they've said there's no foul play anywhere. That's the government's position. And I think that's
But you just said that. But you just said you have not seen it as well before the duty. You see, you are waiting to see that. So I don't understand
No.
why
What
you
I'm
jump
saying
into
is,
a conclusion.
no, I'm not jumping. I'm following the government's position. The government is saying they follow due process. Whatever was put together and sent to the president is only one document. So there's no, according to the government that said there's no foul play. The committees did all the harmonization and he has assented to. So let's put that behind us and let's just get behind this bill.
But have you
That
seen
is my own submission.
have you seen the alterations like from the Gazette? Have you seen any document on that?
I came up with
Yeah,
it. Afolabi.
There's no
Yeah,
alterations. I mean, the government said what was put together is what they are saying. So there's
Which
no foul play.
government authority said that?
The Minister of Finance has come out to say, I mean, Minister of Information, he said it. Government followed due process, and there's only one version of the law. So he said it. I think it's on all the daily newspapers. If you check Punch, all of them, it's there. He's come out to state the government's position. So I think we should get behind the point and let us leave any of these conspiracy theories. Somebody's doing
Wait,
something secretly. All those are
Afolabi,
landing.
Afolabi, if these allegations are proven, will you change your position?
I
no,
don't think
it will not.
Don't worry. It will not. Don't worry.
No,
There's no
no. Is that a trick question?
No. I want.
Afolabi will say there must be an explanation. That is what he later resolves to. When all road has now been blocked, no more defensive positions to take. It will be like there must be an explanation for this.
Because there are things flying around. There are news now coming up that they're withdrawing the gazetted copies up there. And I believe by now those gazetted copies should have been there, because if you intend to implement that law by January, people should have those copies to know what the law says. So now, if they're withdrawing it, they're bringing it down from their website, and what is the reason for that? If it is one law.
Afolabi,
I just downloaded it 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago.
Now the fake one you download, I bet. Off the mic, you downloaded the fake one. Are you not?
these are all
I will remove
allegations.
I will remove you from space to inject my account.
wait. I'm sorry. I need to have a conversation with you. Yusuf, are you okay? Are you okay? Relax. Calm down. Okay? Relax. All right, let's continue. Who is supposed to go next? I don't even lose track.
I was supposed to go now. You said I should wait.
Okay.
Okay. I listened to Afolabi. I think even last night, I got McNoon is here.
I'm sorry, before you go on. Guys, for those who are requesting, I apologize. You get your time. Just bear with me. Almost all the speakers here, there are people I just brought up at some point. So just bear with me. Abbas gone.
Okay.
Like me, or
I said
Hey.
I think they are turning down the whole thing now, because yesterday it was more of how you sure and everything, but now with most of the things that are coming up, even last night, McNoon was suggesting that the government should suspend that act because it's no longer a bill, that it should be suspended so that they can take at least a month or so to look into some of these allegations. But now, you see, Falabi, you see, most people, it's not the fact that you either hate government or you don't want the government to succeed. But when a government is trying to outsmart its own people, that is where the problem comes, right? So, is it that most of these clauses were debated and rejected at that either public hearing or the harmonization level, and it still finds its way back into those systems? Because a national assembly that you have a clear majority, right? The ruling party, I don't understand why such should be happening, or what could have been the reason for you not having your way with these clauses, that it has to be brought in through the back door into the bill. So that is one question I'm curious about. Then secondly, I think a lot is already happening, because if you listen to some of the news that I think I was in. Sorry, can you guys hear me? I had a call that came in.
Abbas is gone.
Okay, so the lost my train of thought. Okay, I was in a space earlier where I saw some of the things were posted, where the Minister of Finance has almost been stripped of all his powers, and that has now been transferred to the Minister of State. Is something happening that we don't know? Is it related to this? I want to know because I think the finance minister is he not the supervisory minister in charge of revenue of revenue services. So what is exactly happening? And why is it difficult for government to come out clear in these allegations? Because you call them mere allegations, some call it conspiracy theories, but people are bringing in evidence to prove their point. So what is really happening? Please, any of you that have anything better than the so-called conspiracy theory, please can you just at least give us a head on, give us a brief, so that let's be clear what the position is. Because right now, the only position out there is this so-called theories that you said, or alleged theories that are out there. Please, if there are other clearer versions from constituted authorities, we don't want party faithfuls, right? Telling us their own personal opinion because it's not different from the conspiracy theories. From constituted authorities,
People like McMahon, we don't want them telling us their own. People like McMahon.
we don't want those individual opinions. We need to be clear because in a few days' time, they're going to be hitting us with taxes from everywhere. So we need to know which of the version, what is out there for us. What are we faced with? Are you?
All right. Thank you. So Ima, your mic, Ima.
Ima, you are the protest. Your mouth is so loud.
All right. It's definitely not adequate. So I'm going to give Dr. Aminu mic because I have a few questions that I feel like he can help us, get some sort of understanding. And Dr. Aminu, I saw your post, was it yesterday, that you found 28 alterations between sections 1 to 100 of the harmonized version of the Act. Doctor, what is the implication of all this, first of all?
Yeah, good morning, or it's afternoon where you are. The implication is, if it is different from the harmonized version, then it is invalid. That law is invalid. There is no in between, Taiwo came out yesterday saying even if there are alterations, we should use what is available. I am surprised, I begin to wonder, did this person, I mean, he's not ignorant, he's not naive, he clearly knows what he's doing. I don't know if everybody knows what they are doing, but Mr. Tayo, I trust him because he is the one that helped write that law. And he knows the process. He knows Section 4 of the National Federal Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria gave powers to the legislators to make law. And Section 58 gave the procedure of making that law. There is no way, nowhere in that constitution that has told executives you have the way to delete, alterate, or add anything, change anything. No. And if he is even suspecting, as he was saying, that if there are any alterations, what he should say is, if there are any alterations, then it's null and void. Not that we should patch it up. There's no partial law in Nigeria. You cannot use, this one is not good enough. Okay, let's hold it until there is some kind of desperation that we cannot comprehend. People like us that are outside the scope of power cannot understand why are they, or why is he himself so desperate to see this law passed instead of him to take it back to the rubber stamp National Assembly, as we call them, to correct it for them. Tinubu has super majority in the House and the Senate. As we all know, everybody is decanting going back to them. Let him just go and rubber stamp it. Why are they so desperate? If you wanted anything within 24 hours, they'll do it within 24 hours. So why are they so desperate, and so arrogant that they are not taking it back, that it must just be done like that? Let's be honest, we as Nigerians now, we are used to corrupt practices. We are used to people like Beta Edu, Wiki and his family, people, using false certificate, Uche Naji, Bosun, what's Olatunji Ojo and his NYC certificate. But we have never come across a time where we see people, coming to write different laws for us. This is something completely new for us in Nigeria. We have never seen things like that. And if we start this, I don't know where we are going to. Basically, what they are just telling us is getting out of, the National Assembly is completely useless. So we respect what the stance of this National Assembly. And funny thing, I don't know if your question is going to be part of that day's inquiry going on. The funny thing is, when they called that inquiry, they set it on Thursday. We all know this Thursday, this coming Thursday. Hopefully they will change it. When I was speaking with someone yesterday, they said, yeah, they are going to raise the motion today so that they will change that inquiry day on Thursday. That when they said that date, that was the days Honorable Abdul spoke, and they said the inquiry date. They said when they called it, then when they reminded them of the day of Thursday, the event on Thursday, they said, yeah, the government has not declared public holiday yet. Imagine, this tells you how.
Thursday was Christmas, doctor.
Yes.
So
It tells you how serious these people are. Then this clown, Taiwo, I call him clown, because I expect a well-learned person, that has been around, he's a tax expert, knows the law and everything, coming to tell us that we should just use the partial law, what is, even if it was altered, we should use what is not altered inside because it's good. Obviously, do we expect? Does he expect us to write? Does he think we expect him to write useless laws for us? No. But there is constitution. Nigeria is governed by constitution. Tinubu's mandate is held up by the Nigerian constitution, and they are trying to accept this constitution, telling us that executives coming into what you call it, change, alterate everything they want. They want to alterate. The first thing, what we were looking at, the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. That is the one. The question you were asking, Mr. Deji. It has 147 sections, I think, or so 140 something. I don't have it on top of my head. But the first 100 that we were looking at, we came up with 28 alterations. 28. And I can tell you now, we can't say all the 28 are significant, but as Honorable Fage will tell you, even if it is one alteration, it is null and void. We are talking about 28% of that first 100 is have alterations, changes, significant changes that we have seen. I am writing in my column tomorrow, providing some examples, but we cannot even provide. I have shared the samples. If you go onto the Nigeria Revenue Service Act, there are about 3 significant ones. The Joint Revenue Board, there are about 3 I think we picked up because those ones are not very plenty. But let's take, for example, section 3.1. Is it 3.1? Let me come up with it as quickly as possible if I have it here. Yeah, if you look at section 3.1b, where they change the whole list of components, the items that should be taxed. They removed VAT under the Federal Tax Administration powers. They removed VAT. They removed taxation of petroleum income. It was in the harmonized tax, approved harmonized tax. And when people come and are telling you, harmonized tax and not harmonized tax, the NAS approval, what Honorable Abdul Samad was saying, the Suki now, Abdul Samad the Suki was saying is, when he calls it house, he's talking about the harmonized one, because that is what there were 40 of them. from the House, 40 of them from the Senate, 80 of them that came to harmonize it, then they all approved it. When you harmonize, you all agree. Section 58 gave them that mandate in subsection 3 there that tells them how to do it. They know this process. And Taiwo knows this process. He knows what is happening. He knows how they are doing that. No, so back to my point there. They deleted the taxation of income from petroleum. They deleted value-added tax. But the problem there is that it created an internal inconsistency because they went back into section 3.1, subsection A, and added VAT. So what this means is it will it will bring in constitutional disputes between VAT administration, between federal government and state government. We will start fighting, you will start seeing Lagos fighting, oh, this is our tax because federal government has no jurisdiction to collect it. Lagos will start collecting VAT taxes. Before you know it, Kano will start collecting VAT tax. It will not be going back to the pot. And the same thing with petroleum taxes, everybody will start going and be collecting petroleum income taxes as well. So this whole thing, creates is modeled up, that you cannot even think people that went to school are doing this. If it was the House members or legislators that did it, then we will begin to think, okay, yes, these guys did not go to school. They are just busy there, collecting dollars, putting and shoving it in their pocket. No, we are talking about the so-called people that went to that have international professions, that claim they know what they are doing, and they are the ones coming to tell us how to bypass our laws, how to break the law, how to throw away the constitution completely. So it's very scary with these people. In all honesty, he's not even supposed to open his mouth and speak like that. That even if there are alterations, we should go against the constitution. Basically, that is what he's telling us. Even if there are alterations, go against the constitution. What kind of person are we running? We have never seen this group of misfits until this generation of people that Tinubu brought for us. I gave all examples, and we can keep going on, all of them. Whoever you call, you put a question mark in front of it one way or another. You hardly get a clean person with these people. And not just, obviously, we all carry our baggage, but how do you come on national TV and tell us that we should violate the constitution, that there's no problem, it will be good for you? I truly don't understand, but there is one deep, deep, deep desperation. When I came in first year, I heard you saying yes, people have passed it. We cannot answer that question. They cannot answer that question. They need to help us explain why they are so desperate that they want to do this. And we should be grateful for the people that came out to speak. Obviously, they will regionalize them. They have conditioned certain people, is certain kind of people. For me, I really don't care. It is if they have passed it, they have passed it. But it should be done according to the book. We have a rule book that guides us and that makes us what we are, that makes it that makes Nigeria a sovereign country and a country guided by a constitution. Let's follow it. If you know too much, follow the book. If you don't know at all, follow the book. The book will guide you. That is what education tells us, right? But why is it telling us throw away the book? Let's just become senseless people and just be doing what we are doing. It's scary, with the kind of people this man is bringing to us. It's very, very scary. But I don't know if I answered your question or if I said any. I just went on. Apologies, please. Let me keep quiet.
Did you have a question for Dr. Aminu? Dr. Aminu, I agree with that. It's scary. So, what will be your opinion on those people that feel, they are scared of the situation and some of them came out to protest. What do you think is going on in their mindset? And what would you say? Are you going to support them, or you are going to tell them to be more strategic? Thank you.
Yeah, you mean protest against implementing the
Yes, because I got a
oh
DM
yeah,
this morning. Some youths went, they called me that they're going for a protest based on this matter we're discussing. I got
no,
up very late and I'm not able to. So what's your opinion on that?
no, my opinion, I support protest. I mean, for me, I'm an active union member. We are always on the picket line. So yes, you're right. Always go and protest. Whenever things are not going well for you, and especially now, if it was in the same country, first of all, this man will not have a job. If he was to say something like that in a sane society. But obviously, we are not completely seen in that place. Nobody even is even picking it up. Everybody is just coming to support what he's saying. Yet support a partial law. How do we people know that? So people to come and protest, follow the law. All people, whenever you see people are protesting, they're just trying to enforce, protect their rights and support a good thing to happen. So yes, I will support protest all the time, every day and night. I'm in support of
Thank you
that.
very, thank you very much. As you can move to my.
Thank you. All right. So the Minister of Information was asked about this issue, and this was his response.
I know is that the executive has presented something to the National Assembly. It was processed, it was passed, it was returned to the executive. What I heard is that National Assembly members have seen some discrepancy and they have set up their own committee to look at those discrepancies. I think it is important for us to wait for the National Assembly to look at this again to tell us that yes, indeed, there were discrepancies or not. This is, as at this point, an affair of the National Assembly to which I have no jurisdiction and I have no, uh, you know, the authority to speak about. Let's wait for this from the National Assembly, and if it would require to get further clarifications, we can. At this point, we know that the tax document has been uh, put forward to the National Assembly. They have worked on it and they have returned it, and it has been passed, it has been signed. Into There's also
So, did you hear anything new from what the minister has said? It looks like the minister is not informed. Though. The minister of information does not know what's going on. I don't think Ima is there. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Or can you guys hear him?
I'm not hearing him out. But soon the news.
All right, that's
From
fine. That's
from what the minister is saying, you will just notice from his voice that Akwema Salah, he's just doing his job. Where is Afolabi? Afolabi said the minister said something that the minister is saying that even the National Assembly have acknowledged the fact that there's alteration. For them to set up a committee to investigate it, that means there is an alteration.
That's not true, Aruna. The true, correct interpretation there is somebody came and alleged. The house said, okay, we'll put a committee together to see if at all there was an alteration. It's not an admission that there was. But as of today, in the news, in the dailies, the minister said the government followed due process. There's only one version of the tax law. So as to repeat myself again, everything you guys are discussing here is just
Afolabi, is it the same audio we listen to? The audio we listen to. Afolabi, the audio
that the executive has presented something to the National Assembly. It was processed, it was passed, it was returned to the executive. What I heard is that the National Assembly members have seen some discrepancy and they have set up their own committee to look at those discrepancies. I think it is important for us to wait for the National Assembly to look at this again to tell us that yes, indeed, there were discrepancies or not. This is, at this point, an affair National Assembly to which I have no jurisdiction and I have no uh, you know, the authority to speak about. Let's wait for this from the National Assembly, and if they would require to make further clarifications, we can. And
All right. So no, Afolabi, the minister at no point said there was only one copy or one whatever. All is just saying. I mean, I don't even know why I'm having to interpret what somebody just said in plain English. Okay. House of Assembly, National House of Assembly said there is discrepancy. They've created committee to look at it. We have more when we have more information, we will share with you. It's as simple as that. So please, we all went to school. Okay. All right. Let's move on though. Let's move on. Feromi, please go on. Feromi, are you there?
Yeah, DG.
Yeah, please go on.
How are you? Morning. Morning to everyone. Basically, it's the controversy for the um, tax law and everything. Well, it's my own concern. So when the issue actually started several months ago, the debate and everything, my own stand on this particular issue has been I don't have a problem with you taxing people, you getting taxed because for those of us who have lived in some other countries, we know how this tax works. Some APC people have said, okay, Nigerians are scared because of getting money. Of course, if you tax me from what I earn, it is not a bad thing. And I'm sure some people have even be paying tax for the number of years I worked in Nigeria, and all of the sectors I worked in Nigeria. I pay tax in all of those sectors. So no matter how small or how minute it might be, but yes, I still take pay my taxes in those years. But my real concern actually would be can I really trust the person I am giving my money to as tax? It's a situation where I actually find myself personally. I don't think I can, as an individual, right, trust the person that wants to get my money from me in the name of tax. I don't think I can trust that individual. And my fears are now being confirmed in all of these controversies that has to do with some particular items being changed in the tax law and the president being assigning this for all of that. My fears are being confirmed because the truth is, so I'll give for example, those of us who have actually lived in some developed countries, you would, so personally, for example, sometime last year, I was being refunded tax in the UK of almost 2,310 pounds. I was being refunded. The letter was sent to me that "Okay, you have overpaid taxes. Or this is the amount you should get back." And I was being paid back. Sometimes if I even underpaid, at the end of the year, you will send you a letter, you have underpaid, this is the money you are owing HRC. Anybody who is in the UK, and what I'm saying, they will tell you. But as a matter of fact, I do not think that will happen in Nigeria, at least to anybody I know of. If you overpay, you overpay. If you underpay, you underpay. No accountability. Nothing as nothing. It's just a case of hiding under people doing things, shady things, hiding under the name of tax. If you want to overtax me, if you want to collect my money, let me know you want to collect my money, and let me know why you are collecting my money. And it's just unfortunate that those who are supposed to be checkmating the government, who are supposed to be checkmating the presidency or what the executive is doing, are the ones who are even lining up to receive and so on. Are the ones who are lining up at the airport to receive the president's son. So, so what do you think those kind of people do, or what do you think they would do to the president when they are already the president? I said it is just because we've been taught as a nation. Like there is nowhere we are supposed to run to, because the only place we are supposed to run to are those who will say, "Oh yes, sir. Oh yes, sir. Oh yes, member." These are the people who are supposed to even check what the executive are doing, right? So it baffles me because on one hand, I understand why we should all pay, right? Why we should all pay this money. I understand, of course, there is no system of government anywhere in the world that can that would not want, no matter how small, even when you talk about Saudi Arabia and all of that, I say to people that no matter how small it is, you still have to pay in one way or the other. This is not government that can run it, but can we trust those people who want to collect my own money? Can I trust them? And at this moment, I cannot trust them because they have not shown me that I can trust them. They're even compounding my fear right now. How can you come and tell us something else, and then you are going to get something else? It is all shade of dubiousness and irresponsibility. And the fact that we have a president who, at this point, I mean, I was even listening to him recently where he was talking to the governors, and he was talking about um, ones that should go directly to the local government, and they are not getting none of that. I'm like, that's the hypocrisy. This is the person who is sitting on the local government fund that should be allocated on the fund that should be allocated to other states. We are talking to governors. And the hypocrisy is just everywhere, and there's nothing, unfortunately, we can do about it. The ADC, now this is my last point. The ADC is one party. When it was started, I was particularly happy about, because I felt like at some point you have a concrete opposition. Because there is no way you can tell me that we are running a democracy when we don't have a formidable opposition. There is no way. PDP that is supposed to be the formidable opposition are all gone. But the ADC at this point in time, to be honest with you, I I want to be a participant of that position. But the truth is, I can't, because I don't. It doesn't seem like they also have something. They don't seem like they have a contradictory opinion, right? If you are telling the president that this activity you are doing is wrong, that this, what should be the right thing to be done? What should be the right thing to be done? They are not stating it. That's how to do it. You don't just come and start saying, oh, because I will not again participate in anything that has to do with not a Tinubu or not a Tinubu or something else. You must give me something to back what you are an agenda. Just come and tell me because if they're calling for a protest right now, what exactly is the protest for? What exactly is the protest for? Are you bringing a solution, matching with your solution in front of you? The reason why you are protesting. These are the things we should be talking about. I'm not the ADC. I was listening to Bolaji Abdullahi the other day with, I think it was Sheung on Channels TV. And Sheung asked him, I think they were talking about the lawmakers or something like that. And Sheung asked him a question. Bolaji Abdullahi was talking about something else, something totally different from. So it looks like they have not actually sat down, rehearsed, already know what they want to do as a party. If you want to be a formidable, because they are the only ones, unfortunately, they are the only ones I see as a formidable opposition in Nigeria at this point in time. They are the only ones. PDP, nowhere to be found. Labour Party, nowhere to be found. NFP, people know if their government is still there or not. So they look like the only formidable opposition. And if the only formidable opposition is running the affairs as though they even have no clue about what governance is, and it is a nice, see a lot of prominent people. You can't tell me I don't know about government. You can't tell me about Arabeshala and the other guy don't know about government. I expect more from this. If you want to gain the trust of, if you want to gain more Nigerians in the party, the truth is they need to start doing something different. Right? The time for Ochacho has come. Right now, you are dealing with a president that is a no-nonsense man. At least the JPC members have told us that Tinubu is a no-nonsense man. He doesn't go back on his word. It's only what he wants to do once. And we are seeing it clear. It is crystal clear. And we are also seeing that the legislative are also part of the same government. They are all in one campus. What the ADC needs to do is to give the people a second a choice. Give them a good choice. You say rice is bad. Yeah, I know rice is bad. But are you giving me something else? Are you giving me something else to eat? You can't just keep crying for rice is bad, and then we are all crying. What is the alternative? So I know there are a couple of ADC guys, and that's why I'm just trying to push this because I don't know when I will speak about this again. Please, if you know that truly you want to compete as an opposition in Nigeria, you have to start giving us an option, a credible option, and start giving us something that we can see, something, and not just something of just of the air, something that we can follow and say, yes, this is your ideology, this is what we are actually pursuing, and not everybody getting together because we want to form opposition. And I want to say thank you for this particular one. As for me, tax, yes, good for there has to be clarity. Let me know why you're collecting my money, and let them be clarity of purpose. Again, APC, I've been APC space. You hear them talking about when even this morning I was on one space and somebody was talking about yes, people are in the UK, people are in Canada, people are in the USA, they pay taxes. But when it comes to Nigeria, they are scared. Yes, we are scared because this year, I have called HRS, I have called them and I demanded to know exactly what my taxes are for, and they sent me a letter telling me what they use my own money to do. No, it is my money. Someone wants to take my money, and then you are telling me you are bullshitting me as if no, all you are interested in is my money. It is not in my matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Fermi. So guys, another short clip. Earlier today, one of the tax experts that was also part of the committee that brought up this tax act that we know it to be was interviewed on channel, and of, obviously he was asked about these old controversies, and um very interesting response from him. So let's take a listen.
How do these controversies surrounding that's coming up? The wonderful job that the presidential committee on the fiscal reforms did to work on those tax laws, operate them, update them, and all of that. Well, essentially, you were also a part of that team. So, how did you receive this news making the rounds? And do you see any truth to any of the allegations, particularly coming from the National Assembly?
Thank you, Ayo. And I want to appreciate you for dashing me doctor. I'm yet to be one. This as it may, the main issue is that I wasn't. I was surprised. Yes, so that I was surprised that the allegation came, but I also was not too surprised because humanum est errare, to err is human. If there are errors in human conduct, it's only God that cannot make mistakes. So anything that concerns man and errors are identified, I take it as a normal thing. So that's why I said I will not be too surprised if there are errors somewhere. The thing is, investigation will reveal whether the error was intentional, deliberate, or otherwise. And I think the investigation is still ongoing. The House of Senate, the Senate is set to take a position on the matter. The House of Reps already have a 7-man committee that are investigating the matter, and 1 week we run out, I think, on Christmas Day. So we are expecting the outcome. A lot of reactions have come up emotionally, and we need to set the grains from the chaff. So it's a process. So there is a complaint on the ground coming from the.
All right. So, Dr. Amino, um, he said this could just be down to a simple human error, right? And investigations will reveal whether these errors were deliberate or otherwise. Dr. Amino, is it possible to mistakenly make all these changes?
Well, as he called it human error, humans, we are all humans. We are not, but like I was saying, I'll repeat myself. If we know too much, it means we know much of what our rule book told us. That is our constitution. So we have to follow our constitution. Those of us that the people that say they know a lot, there is a guidance for us to follow. So you make an error, you go back, correct that error. If you do not know at all, look at the rule book, our constitution, it will guide you on how to do it. Now, let me repeat myself again. If we go back to what do you call it? If you look at what the Constitution says, it does not give powers for the executive to change anything. Don't get me wrong. I have access to so many lawyers' reports on this thing. So to, I have better knowledge than the average Twitter person who just comes to listen and go. Um, what this has been suggested is some lawyers are saying, yeah, there are nomenclatures, administrative errors and what have not that can be corrected. But even if those are being corrected, like that, what that honorable member was saying, even if it is just a mistake, you need to take it back to them, and let us know, let it be jotted, let it be noted that yes, we saw a comma here, we saw an apostrophe here, we saw the writing of bill instead of calling it act or calling it act instead of law. We have corrected it because this is what should be a gazette vocabulary or gazette nomenclature. So we have corrected it just for your own noting. You don't have to do anything. But these things were not done. There is no note on anywhere, to say yes, we have returned it back to them. But that is not just it. They inserted so many the policy driven clauses, sections. There were places, that they removed rotations of directors. There were places they changed number of directors. It used to when the house passed it, or the harmonized version. Now they are forcing us to call it harmonized version when it's just supposed to be called a house version. But because they just
Oh God, error, ni co-host. Sorry about that, Doctor Avino. Sorry about that.
okay, I
Please
don't
go
know
ahead.
why I stopped. I was busy speaking.
Give me go.
It- yeah, it was the co-host. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
so I don't know where. I mean, when they were um I don't know where I stopped, but maybe I can just continue. So when there were places, where they said where they changed it to six directors. I mean, more than six directors should be appointed in the in the tax agency. When the House said they should only be six directors, then they changed, they went on to introduce some kind of professional qualification for this group of people. The House did not do that. These are all, things that should be taken back. If they want it to be changed, let them know. If they do not want rotation to be happening between the head of and the tenure of these people, if they do not want it, all they can do is speak to the House, this is what the president wants. Let's not forget, the president owns them. They are all in his back pocket, at least the super majority. Even if the minority are going to have their say, the majority will have their way, as they usually say. So why can't they do that? Why is the executive, undermining the power of the legislature, uh, the, the lawmakers themselves? The lawmaking is clear. Do where it is for the legislatives. Executives, you are supposed to be implementing this. So this thing, what this guy is saying, yes, there's an error. Who made the error? Now, this is what we should be asking him. Who made the error? And who is responsible for correcting this error? We have to be clear that, as we all know, as long as this investigation will be ongoing, and as long once we find there is alterations, that law is completely invalid. And we cannot blame it on the legislatives. No, legislators, sorry. We cannot blame it on the legislators. We should blame it on those people who made that error, who felt they are too lazy to correct it on time and take it back to follow the due process. That is, these are the people that should take responsibility. Just because I picked up an error on DG does not mean I'm at fault. No. The person who refused to accept this error, and let's be honest, we all know who. I mean, these people. If there was alterations, we know it did not just happen, from somewhere. Computer did not do it. It is humans that did it. So if there is truly an alteration, as Taiwo was also hypothesizing, if there is an alteration, then they should, the person that did it or the group of people that did it know that they did it. So why will they, if there is an alteration, why should they be wasting Nigerians' time? Obviously, there may be some administrative penalties, ministers will have to go, or they may have to go to prison time, they may have to do prison time, people like I will do prison time. If these are all, or clerks will have to be sacked, if this is all administrative errors, because they are usurping our constitution. But the problem and the scary part is, and this is my suspicion is, this is what there is one particular big point they do not want to go through. Because if the president was aware, he knowingly assented this approval, knowing that it was the executives that did the alteration, and he laughed over it and signed it, then we are talking about something bigger. And I believe my suspicion is this is where they do not want to go to. That's why they are just trying to push it down, sweep it under the carpet. For the past 2 weeks, this thing did not start last Thursday. It started like 2 weeks ago when the speaker was pushing them, let them just find a way to do it. Let them just correct it. Let them just correct it. Until Honorable Abdulsamad Dasuki came out to say, no, we cannot let this go. Some people are not very hungry, or are not even hungry at all in that place. I know we all think they are they are in Tinubu's pocket. Yes, most of them. But we have to be brave with people like that. I mean, we have to support brave people like that are coming out to protect our constitution. So these people that will say it's an error, who made the error, and who should be? Someone should take responsibility. We can't just say it's error, then let's go on with that.
Absolutely. And there's a second bit to his statement. He was also talking about, the severity. He says the entire act itself contains over 400 and something sections. So if all the alterations, according to him, he has seen is not up to 10, why should this, matter, as a matter of controversy?
To ensure that
I'm just going
we
to
get the ball rolling. But certainly, I don't think the allegation will be sufficient enough not to kickstart the implementation of the tax reforms. By the last time I checked, all the provisions mentioned were not up to 10. And, the total number of provisions in the 4 tax reform acts, we have 203 in the Nigeria tax from the 14 schedules. We have 148 in the Nigeria Tax Administration Act from the 5 schedules. We have 61 sections in the General Revenue Board of Nigeria Establishment Act and about 3 schedules. Then in the Nigeria Revenue Service Act, we have about 40 something, around 43 sections, and up to not less than 3 to 4 schedules. So on the whole, you discover we have about 400, not less than 400 sections. So if we have 10 or less than 10 sections, we have issue with them. I think we can suspend them, put them in abeyance, just as we have done to sections 159 to 162 of the Nigeria Tax Act that deals with surcharge, what we call taxing petroleum motor spirit. So the tax that is supposed to be done on PMS, when Nigerians cried out, the Federal Ministry of Finance said, okay, sections 159 to 162, amounted to chapter 7 of the NTA, we will not start it in January 2026. So that has been suspended.
I mean, is it
No,
that simple? Just suspend
no, sir.
this.
Let me. Sorry, this man just triggered me a little bit. He is talking about a law that was passed before. Yes, we can come in today and look at maybe Fiscal Responsibility Act, look at one section, of maybe and say, okay, let's suspend it.
This your doctor, is he a lawyer, please, Deji?
Please mute your mic. When is your turn, you speak. Doctor, please go on.
That can happen. They can suspend, but we are talking about an establishment act like the Nigeria Revenue Service Act, and as I'm establishing that particular agency now, which is new in this act. The Nigeria Joint Revenue Board is also an established. It's a new act that is being established. First of all, for them to be altered makes this whole thing null and void. It's either it cannot be partially correct, or it can be some of them can be correct and we will suspend them. No, it cannot. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. This is common knowledge that we all know. If you pass a law, it has to be either full blown law. Then if it is fully correct, then we can come back and start talking about, yes, this maybe we can think of suspending it or not suspending it because of public interest or something like that. But you cannot just come and say, okay, because there's an alteration. That alteration nulls that nulls that and voids that law completely. You cannot have, and we are talking about an alteration by an executive that does not have the power to alter anything in our law. They are not they do not have the power to make law. So I think this guy is just mixing things up and coming up with all those things, and we all know what they are trying to do. They just do not want to say, yes, the president has full knowledge of assenting this law, and he has the knowledge of assenting that law. We have gone out of administrative error that they are talking about. So the responsibility of pushing it on Minister of Justice, Minister of Finance, or Edele, I don't think you have any responsibility because it's just an advisor somewhere. It's all these serious people that will take responsibility will end up going to jail. But if it goes beyond that, we are talking about, that big thing that you do not want to talk about, with an I, an M, and P following it. So, and that is what they are all scared of. They do not want to be the people, thinking this is what we should be going about, looking at that direction. Notwithstanding, we are not saying we even want to go to that extreme. Correct this thing. How hard is it? Why are you so arrogant? Why are you so desperate? So um, feeling that you are above everybody, you are above correction. Nobody should correct what you have done. You have these people that can correct this thing for you. And when the speaker went back to be and told the House members, when they were to correct it, they told him, yes, we will correct it for you, but bring it down, put it down, let's correct it. Look at what is being done, what they snuck in. Let's look at it. At least, let's follow that due process. That is what the Constitution is for. Have they forgotten that this man, it is Nigerian Constitution that brought him to power, that gave him all this power? So why is he trying to deny other people the right to do all these things? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, please
No.
run.
Just go on. My next point is something.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. All right, let's bring in Macron. Macron, please go on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Beyond the name calling that Doctor did, I think he's been quite balanced and objective in his approach. If I wanted to play politics with you, I would have focused on the name calling. I think I found it totally disrespectful that you use those names on how we do. But I would not let that distort the message. So, two things that I think that we are waiting for, and two different positions on this. And then we also have a lot of issues where we all agree. So the first issue that we all agree is that nobody is throwing out the allegation and saying that it should not be investigated. Everybody has agreed that the allegation should be investigated. The timing of investigation, going on recess, and this and all of that, I think we can also see further discuss on that. So the second thing that we are all not able to agree on is whether the tax laws, the implementation of the tax law should be suspended or not. Yesterday, I held the position that it should be suspended. Today, my position has changed. And this is in light of new information, in light of the clarification from the Minister of Information, who clearly stated in that same video that they posted, it's a 1 hour video, it's an end of the year press briefing of the Minister of Information that he does every year since 2023, 1 hour video, not a 10-second clip. He clearly stated categorically that we have only one version, and that version is the one that was transmitted from the National Assembly and also signed by the President. So for whoever wants to watch it, you can watch it on News Central's YouTube page. You can watch it on Arise TV news page, YouTube page, and also TV Continental. Now, some of the issues that have been raised, so very quickly, what you can do, and that's why I was waiting for Dr. Aminu's 28 insertions and deletions. I was trying to take notes mentally. You talked about VAT exemption on petroleum products. You also talked about the removal of the petroleum income tax. So I would have loved to wait for you till tomorrow. If you can also provide us that link, I'm going to read your article. And this is what I want everybody to do. So download the 4 documents. Whoever says that the documents have been removed from the website has either not gone to the website or believes that Nigerians don't do anything. So you can just go to tat.gov.ng. You will download all the 4 documents. So after downloading the 4 documents, and they are gazetted, after downloading the 4, so what we are going to do is to pick all of the alterations that Dr. Amin is going to be listing tomorrow, upload that document into ChatGPT or Copilot, and tell it to look through it. So quickly, what I did, when some people were talking, I did it for the Nigerian Tax Act. So the first prompt that I asked was for ChatGPT to look strictly into that document that I uploaded and tell me what the SME threshold for being taxable, whether vatable or CIT, and it should tell me particularly what section. So he said, under the interpretation section of the Act, small company means a company that earns gross turnover of 50 million or less per annum, with total fixed assets not exceeding 250 million, provided that any business providing professional services shall not be classified as a small company. So we can look that and compare that with whatever Dr. Amin is giving us tomorrow as to what section of the Harmonized Act, is in discrepancy with it. So the second question I also asked is that is a 20% deposit required before a tax appeal can be filed under the new Nigeria Tax Act of 2025? And this is what the AI returned back, looking strictly into the PDF that I uploaded, downloaded from tat.gov.ng. And it said categorically, no provision anywhere in the Nigeria Tax Act 2025 requires a 20% or any percent deposit as a condition precedent to filing a tax appeal. What the Act actually says, a taxpayer shall have a right to appeal in accordance with the Nigeria Tax Administration Act of 2025. And it says further that the Tax Act does not prescribe a deposit requirement, does not mandate partial payment before appeal, and also does not impose any financial barrier to lodging an appeal. So the last one also is I asked, is there anywhere in the uploaded document where the tax authorities have the powers to arrest? And it said, short answer, no. What the document actually contains and what it does not. So what is in the Act? The Act repeatedly imposes tax liabilities, creates offenses, provides for penalties, surcharges, assessments, recovery, and regulations, and also expressly differs enforcement mechanics to another law. So it further said, most importantly, Section 200 states, the discharge of the duties and obligations, as well as the exercise of powers and rights conferred by this act shall, to the extent not provided in this act, be in accordance with the provisions of the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025. So what is not in the act? He said, after searching the entire document, no section uses the words arrest, detain, custody, apprehend, or imprison. No provision authorizes the Nigerian Revenue Service, any state IRS, or any tax officer to arrest a taxpayer, detain a taxpayer, compel attendance through physical constraints. Even where the act says commit an offense, the consequence stated is tax liabilities and penalties, or reference to penalties under the Nigerian Tax Administration Act 2025, not arrest powers. So, in conclusion, part of those three of these things have been consistently being pushed out by people who believe that these were issues that were altered in the final gazetted copy. And I have seen using AI, you can also use Copilot. I was driving when I did it, so I'm back home now. I will fill it on Copilot, fill it on Gemini, and even fill it on Adobe, and ask this specific question so that we can come to a conclusion. So by and large, for me, my position is also the position of Taiwo Yedele, and I think that there's a big, and this is where I have a problem with Dr. N. Amino's name calling of Taiwo Yedele. Now, if you look at Dr. Amino's profile also, it's a profile that you would love. He has a fantastic profile. I tried to connect on LinkedIn, but I was confusing your name. So, maybe in the back channel, you can send me your LinkedIn profile to connect with you. So for me, the danger in this is that we are going to prevent professionals, people like Deji, an experienced project management professional, a Scrum Master who is in Canada, doing his work. We are going to discourage him from coming back into the government sector with his private sector experience, particularly as somebody who has consistently sat down to look into government policies and say, I have solutions to these things. So if you now say you call him names, he's an idiot, he's a thief, I don't know what is in his head. Somebody even said that he does not rate anybody that works with Big Four. For me, it is now looking as if there's an agenda behind it. So in conclusion, we've been quite objective, even though many of us have positions that will not stand, that will stand on and will not change until the outcomes of the committee investigating the allegation. Some people, regardless of the outcome, if the outcome favors them, they will say, we told you. If the outcome doesn't favor them, they still will not change. So, but my own advice as professionals, and I think that many of us are professionals here, is that as professionals, we should be quite objective. When the investigation report comes, I think that we should go and continuously educate people as to how they plan their tax liabilities. Continuously also review, monitor, and evaluate the performances of these tax laws. Are they serving the purpose? If they are not serving the purpose, also push for further amendments. I believe as a person that the constitution, policies, processes, procedures, systems are supposed to be living documents. They are supposed to be iterative in nature. It is supposed to be a journey and not a destination. And I yield at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Amini, do you have any response?
Yes. First of all, I think you kept repeating that I am name calling. Yes. I don't know what name calling I am doing or I did. I don't know if there is a personal attachment with you and originally, but someone of his caliber who is the chairman of the Presidential Tax Reform and Fiscal Policy something, I don't even remember what that is, but it's a very significant position in Nigeria and in our economic environment. Someone like that to come out and who championed this tax reform to come out and tell us that let's just accept the constitution, even if there are alterations. So he's giving us a scenario, assuming there are alterations, which he knows what the constitution clearly says, then let's just forget about it and just go on and bypass the constitution. Does he know the consequences of that? If the president does that, it's an impeachable offense. We're talking about legislative fraud. We're talking about criminality, that people go to jail. And he's telling us, someone, at the seat of power, telling us that we should just accept the constitution. No, I will have to call names. And I'm unapologetic for calling him names, because he is encouraging criminality and legislative fraud. Anyway, that is by the by. Mr. Deji, I don't know how patient you can be. I think he mentioned some things that I was talking about, but I never got to the point of mentioning. Under the Tax Administration Act, Nigerian Tax Administration Act 20, we have about 28 out of, I think, 140 something. We came up in the first 100 sections, we got exhausted. We just looked at the first 100 sections, we came up with 28. I can list the sections for you if anybody want to look at them. And how did we look at it? We looked at the approved version, which is the harmonized version they are talking about, the full approved version versus what has been gazetted, or what we call the executive version. So when we are speaking about it, you call it either the House version versus the executive version, which is the gazetted version. People will call it the gazetted version. Or if you are going to use Taiwan's language, the harmonized version versus the harmonized versus the gazetted version. So anyway, whatever it is, this is what we are talking about. Yes, we know that the clerk has been hiding those ones, but we are talking. There are 80 people in the National Assembly that have those copies. We have copies. They have shared these copies with us long time ago. They asked us to help put in some inputs in there. So all of them have those copies. Everybody that harmonized it, and everybody in the National Assembly that cares. I'm not sure. I cannot speak for all the 369 of them, 469 of them, but those who care about it will have their copy because they helped approve it. On harmonized version, there's a process there that they will have to approve it, and they will have their own copies. Anyway, the point here is
Can you make the harmonized version public for us all?
I will try to see.
Can I text my email to you?
No, I don't text your email.
Okay, you don't want to make it public. It has to be secret.
It's public. Speak to your, what do you call it, house member.
They are keeping it. They don't want to give it to us.
This is
you have
problem.
it.
Yeah, I do.
You give it to the public. Give it to us. Shame them.
I'm happy to do that, but I do not want to. My aim. Let me be true to you. I do not really care. What it has been passed in that tax law, because even if they are going to tax people, I remember some of my elders used to tell me they were paying 3% tax in the UK here in the 70s. It did not change them. They are still multimillionaires as they are even as of today. So taxation, should not change anybody. It's not good. I know it makes people worse off, but I do not care. Tax in Nigeria is not going to change anything that I do.
That's why you studied it to bring out your alteration.
Yes, but no. What I care.
But what you don't want is you don't want the public to see what you are saying.
Hold on, let me tell you. What I care about, what I do not like about this tax law is how they are usurping our constitution, how they are flaunting this law, and they are doing it with arrogance. This is why it just my anger. They are not following the law. The content in that tax law, we have beaten it. We've gone past it. I don't care about. But breaking this law and then coming out, with arrogance that it should happen. It must happen. Whether we like it or not. There are easy ways for them to correct it.
Yes, Dr. Aminu, You know what? I think it will not. Let's ask Mark what he thinks of that statement. Do you agree that on this hypothetical situation that if these alterations were actually in fact done, you know, do you take Mr. Taiwo Idele's position and this other man that they are not that important? They can be suspended and the actual law can be implemented. Is that your position
Let me
as
answer
well?
your question intellectually. So please just hold on. Take it easy. So Dr. Aminu has said that any alteration that is either grammatical or punctuational for him is an alteration. I don't agree that that's an alteration. That we put comma and semicolon, I do not agree. There's no way you will force me to agree that. But any alteration that changes the policy direction, that changes the form, that changes the substance, that changes figures, for me, I stand with Dr. Amino on that. Throw out the entire bill. That's if it is a Nigerian tax act, you have to suspend the implementation of that Nigerian tax act and take it back. However, for me, because it benefits the people, then the executive should find a way to lobby the National Assembly to expedite action on passing it. So I stand with him on that. That yes, any part of it, whether it is the NRS or the NTA or the NTA, you should suspend the implementation of the entire act, of that entire act, take it back to the National Assembly and give it accelerated hearing, since it benefits the people.
Okay, fair enough. But McNoon, just to also go further, because your own position now is like, okay, if there's actually a very major alteration, you should suspend it, go back, which I mean, I agree with you. But what about that? The fact that the act or the action happened in the first place, shouldn't heads roll because of that?
Yeah, thank you, Deji. So, and this is why I say that we need to also, and this is where Dr. N. Amino has also, I think Dr. Amino has been quite objective and balanced. It's just that sometimes there's a way he frames it that throws you off balance. And he said something that is very, very important in passing, that the clerk of the National Assembly is responsible for producing, responsible for attesting, responsible for double checking, responsible for final signature before transmitting to the president. That is the person that the constitution gives that right. So if the clerk, and this is why I feel that Dr. N. will force the National Assembly members not to only give us their own harmonized version that they start now as a committee. We also need to, for me, there are three versions. The one that the committee, the 80 member committee, sat down to harmonize, the one signed by the clerk of the National Assembly, and the one gazetted by the federal government.
No. What happens is once they have harmonized it, they pass it, they give it to the clerk, and the clerk gives them that copy.
So yeah, I'm agreeing with you,
yeah,
doctor. Please let me make my point clear, please, and please. So for me, I'm looking at all possibilities. Everybody that has contact with that document towards final passing. Everybody that has contact. The committee members, where is your own? The minutes of the meeting, if possible, if you want to give us. Now, the clerk, it was passed to you. What you are supposed to do is to also sign, right? So if yours is in agreement, what you signed is in agreement with the committee's own, it's fine. But you just give us your own copy also. Because the committee's own is going to be unsigned. Give us that copy. Your own that it is signed, give us the copy. Then the president should give us their own gazetted copy, which is already on the internet that we have downloaded. So for me, I need this too. For me, the reason why I'm saying is that it's very, very important that whoever comes in contact with that document at this high level must come with transparency. Nobody should hide under and be protected by senators and members. No, nobody is going to be protected. If the chief of staff of the president is involved in alteration, if the PSO is involved in the alteration, when we ask that we need the flow, this document flow, we need it. How did it flow from here? All of it that came in contact with it, give us the copies. And I think that's a transparent way of investigating it. Rather than, just lumping it under harmonized National Assembly. No, for me, personalities are now being involved. Whether it is institutional, whether they are working for institution, whether it be political, be it economic, individuals are involved in this alteration. And like you rightly said, human beings, whether it is error, whether it is deliberate, human beings sat down We need specific human beings that had possession of this document while it was flowing from the legislature to the executive. Thank you.
Okay, so Martino, last question, and I mean, I don't disagree with anything you have said since I started asking you these questions. And this last bit, I think, may be tricky. Let's see how it turns out. So, for you, right? Again, I know that this conversation we've had in the last 2 minutes or so has been on hypothetical situations, like that assumption that there was actually, in fact, an alteration. So we are still on that level. So, which means I also acknowledge that it may not be true. Okay, so just so that we are clear. Now, on that same assumption that if this actually was in fact true to you, right, as a citizen, how grave is that? Is that, or is this something that is actually normal? Have we seen this happen before? And what should Nigerians generally make of this if it actually is true?
If it is true, if it is true, if it is true, like I said, heads must roll. Heads, except the president. For me, the president should not resign. The president should not be impeached for it. That is my own position. And now that is the political position. I've taken it political. It's a political position for me that heads must roll, but it must not affect my own president. He must not resign, neither should attempts be made to impeach. If the attempt to impeach him, he should play his politics side and make sure he doesn't get impeached. So I hope you get the two parts. So the civil servants that are involved, the public servants that are involved, maybe chiefs of staff, PSO, class, those ones, if you are involved in all things and say, no, I got direction from Senate President, or I got direction from a politician, you would lose your career, you will lose your job. Not only will you lose your job, you will go to jail. So the political angle to it is that the political player, the one that is my own principal, is not going to lose that position for anything. And that's my own political position on that. Thank you.
I mean, fair enough. Let's move on. Before we move on from this segment, I'll just let Dr. Aminu respond last week, and then we can proceed.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my train of thought, but yes, impeachment is a political decision, so it's on the decision of the Robert Staff National Assembly to think of taking that impeachment process, and it has a long process. So we are not even going to go there with the kind of super majority the president has in the whole country, So I don't think we should be worried about. And as he rightly said, this is what we want is what is making this president legal is because of our constitution. So why should we be thinking, or why should we be supporting people that are saying let's keep breaking the law? Anyway, but I will keep quiet for now. If you have time, I can list those number of sections whoever is taking planning to double check them. I will list those number of sections when you come to me. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll come back. Okay, let's take a step forward. I think Mr. Victor, please go on. We are having a back-to-back APC section here. Victor, go on. Is he speaking? I can't hear
He's
you.
not speaking.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman of the Great Debate Assembly. I am very grateful to be here with the rest of my colleagues of the online community. Honorable Aminu must have been representing the Kano or Kaduna side of the online community. Anyway, what I'd like to say, let me just throw a band first. The national opposition movement has called a protest, not a bed has shown up. That means the opposition movement is a failure. Nobody has shown up in their headquarters. I've been there this morning. Nobody has shown up in the National Assembly. I've been there again. And I'm on my way back just to verify, to confirm. So you people are a failed opposition. Anyway, then let's go to the subject matter, which is the allegation of alteration of a law. You see, sometimes when I listen to people,
I've come to find out that they talk about the things they have no idea of the process or how it works. And if anybody here has seen a act, a bill that has become an act before, there are two signatures on it. The signature of the clerk of the National Assembly, followed by the signature of the president. And to make it worse for all the people making this allegation, the clerk of the National Assembly initials every single page of an act that he has signed that is being delivered to the president. So what I have seen is that opposition being opposition, they are trying to make allegations, which is deliberate, which is their job, but they are missing out on the realities. You see, if you say there is a forgery of a document, at least the first thing you need to bring out is the original of the document, and the second thing is the forged document. In this case, these people are alleging that the one that the clerk and the president, those two signatures, you will see it on it, the gazetted one, have signed, which the clerk initialed every single page of it, has been forged. Now, are they saying that the president also forged the initials of the clerk of the Senate and the clerk of the House of Rep and the clerk of the National Assembly? Now, they haven't brought us the so-called harmonized copy, which they themselves claim to have initiated. We haven't seen any of those copies, because when the committee finishes their work and they are sending it to the clerk, they, as the committee, will even initiate that work that they have done, because bills are considered section per section. And when they finish, they will initiate the section that they have approved. Now we haven't seen any of these working documents. We haven't seen any of these drafts which carry signature of everybody that worked on it. I mean, we're better than this as a people. Honestly, we shouldn't allow this kind of opposition to drag us to this level. You can't see an act that the president will sign without first seeing the signature of the clerk of the National Assembly on it, and they must sign on the same page. I don't understand this thing we're doing, but this opposition is favoring you people. You people should continue with it. Thank you and have a nice day.
Interesting. APC, they complain about opposition. Anyway, let's move on. Thank you, Mr. Victor. All right, let's have.
Mr. Deji,
Let's have.
can I just say
Mr.
something quickly?
Yes.
I'm truly surprised, people like us, that live in the abroad have access to these documents. And those people, so I'm beginning to suspect, either they have it, they are talking about it, but they claim they don't have it, or there is something, there is a faction in that ruling party, is in a two-tier ruling party. They are the haves and the have-not. Because people like us, have that. We know everything that is going on quickly. I can tell you the color of food certain people are eating in the National Assembly or in the presidency.
Doctor, why not just make it public? You post it on the jumbo train. Let
He's
Nigeria
lying,
see.
no, he knows he's lying. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. He's lying. He doesn't have anything. He's lying.
Liar.
Because the first thing you will release is a copy that is being initiated by the committee member. They initiate every single section as approved. What kind of thing is this that we do in Nigeria? Just in the name of opposition, we do some things.
I'll let you speak. But what is just wait?
I mean, you can't be a gatekeeper to corruption.
I'm not
gatekeeping. You are enabling corruption.
I'm not gatekeeping. What I did.
That's what you're doing.
Yes. Let me speak. And you guys can hear what I'm talking about. what I'm surprised is don't get me wrong. I'm not holding it. I'm not keeping it down. I've shared it with quite a few people that I know. And there are some of them are on this app. Even though I don't take this app very seriously, I take it where people take life seriously, not where people just come and talk and no action. But the point is, I find it unbelievable, for you, Macron, to tell me that you do not have that copy. This is what is just making me surprised. If you are truly part of a serious support base or
I mean, if you guys have anything, we will see it online by now.
yeah,
You guys are
online
lying.
president.
You don't have anything.
Let's stop interrupting, okay? By the way, Dr. Aminu, it's only on rare occasions I see Mr. Victor getting triggered like this. So, uh, uh, you know, Mr. Victor, no vex, just calm down, eh? Calm down, okay? Don't be triggered. Relax. Dr. Aminu is well and capable to handle you. Just relax. All right, Dr. Aminu, please go.
It's, a law is like
Go
an
and get your own copy and go and send. Stop this noise. Meet your mic.
Mr. Victor, please. We are not looking for lectures on what is law. Dr. Aminu, please go on.
The funny thing about this story is when we started hearing that agenda, I don't know if you saw what Peacock here that we was talking about. They are trying to take it out, but they cannot go and collect what has happened or what the harmonized people did. 80 of them. We are talking about 80 copies, at least 80 copies are in circulation. So how can I say? Believe me, I believe if there are 10 copies of something going on in Nigeria, as long as it's not just kept under the carpet of Mr. President, as long as it's I believe I will be able to have access. So maybe we are running several years here that some people have no access to certain things. But the point is, I have shared it with certain group of people. I'm not going to waste my time, or I don't share my personal details with people, even though I'm not hiding anything, but there are some personal information that I'd rather not share. But I have shared it with so many people here, and I believe so many other people have been able to get it since when I started sharing it.
Yeah.
So,
Dr. Aminu,
Deji, do you have it? Deji, do you have it?
Sorry, please.
No,
I
Deji,
don't.
you don't.
Mute your
don't.
mic. Let me finish. So, Dr. Aminu, you may be right. You may be right, because don't forget, this is an administration they told us has 5 cabals. Maybe Macron and Mr. Victor belongs to the cabal that know
Deji,
they
don't
get
go that out.
information.
Leave that cabal out. Do you have the copy? Deji,
All right, let's move on.
No,
Let's
now.
move on. Mr. Mike. Thank you. We have engaged that segment for. We can now proceed a little bit. All right. Let's have Daddy B, please.
Good day, everyone. But I want you to always, at least sometimes, have more control of people interjecting.
Daddy B, do you want to speak or not? Please,
Okay.
Just go on.
Okay. My own is just that in the settlement and the harmonized version, when the news first broke, like 2 weeks ago at the House of Rep, the Macron of this world and co were initially denying it. Trying to
come again, I didn't get that. Come again, please.
I said when the news first broke to the public, there were a lot of spin doctors trying to say there was no difference with it until we started seeing the difference between the gazetted and the harmonized. And it has been.
Have you seen the harmonized?
Let me speak. Let me speak. You have not seen it either. You have not seen it either. You have not brought the harmonized to prove to us that it's different from what we are saying.
I'm not to bring harmonized. I'm giving you gazetted. You are the one.
Please. Okay. We will see each other later. Since we thought it's a good night. Wait, oh, it's like Adam Mogo wants to ask you a question. Say you should not run. So let Daddy B finish and we can get on with that. Daddy B, please go on. Please, guys, don't interrupt, please.
So the privileged information I also have is that the news about the alteration, the changing of words and the likes had been in the House, in the National Assembly, for the past 3 or 4 weeks. That even the Speaker of the House is aware. Some of them are aware that there is alteration, and they were debating it whether to bring it to the floor or not, whether there is a way they can amend or correct behind the scene until the water broke loose and it came to the public. So if there is nothing that is different from the two versions, I think there won't be anything for them to be dragging at the National Assembly, whether to correct internally or not. And for the spin doctor who had always been coming to speak good English, to hide under the good English and try to spin our head that what is yellow is blue. Taiwo Oledele interview is a direct admission for the likes of anybody, any spin doctor. Don't let me call names. Any spin doctor who have been trying to spin it that no, there's nothing bad, there's nothing wrong. The Taiwo Oyedele's admission in that interview clearly stated and clearly painted that truly there were alterations. For my own is just that, from my own understanding of legislative bills and acts, is that if there is punctuation, comma, and others, those are minor. Because as Taiwo Oyedele was speaking, like just a minor mistakes, clerical errors, typographic errors, those are the ones that can be corrected. And even when they correct it, even at the Senate, you have to take it back to the House to get it corrected the same way. And what they did, because my own is just that, let's put it in perspective. From the harmonized version, let's agree without conceding that there is alteration. Those alterations are about things like removing or watering down the oversight function of the legislative over the national Nigeria Revenue Service. It's about watering down the oversight function. It's about inputting coercive tools into the gazetted compared to the harmonized version. So when I talk, it's about who stands to gain from those alterations. And that's the reason why I will never go with those who are saying maybe the clerk of the house, maybe some staffs at the committee levels mistakenly put it. Those were deliberate insertions. Who stands to gain? If I'm in the committee, as a committee member, how did I put something like that or as tools into the bills different from the one National Assembly passed if I don't start to gain anything? So who stands to gain? Number one, the head of that committee, which I would say maybe Mr. Taiwo Oyedele allegedly, should be the number one person who stands to gain. Maybe indirectly or not indirectly. That shows that the ladders goes up even to the president. They were the one who wanted to have that control, reduce the oversight functions of the House of Assembly, of the National Assembly, sorry. So they stand a lot to benefit, and that's the reason why they inserted those alterations, those keywords into it. There were full sentences and phrases that they deliberately put into it. So it's not clerical error. Those words, those alterations did not find their way into the gazetted book. By chance of mistakes, they are deliberately inserted in. Fine, I know they might say, okay, let's try and minimize bullet from who to eat and who not to eat. Let's try and look for somebody who will take the bullet for everybody. And what my own understanding about how National Assembly works is that if both houses pass the bill, somebody was trying to paint that the clerk has sent, it's the clerk and the president that has sent. The clerk is a civil servant. The clerk cannot be the one that utterly, because he's got nothing to gain. He's a civil servant. Except somebody wants to say, some people came to the clerk and asked him to insert, which I am sure in Nigerian legislature, the clerk of the house does not have the power to insert words or sentences into the bill of the House. The harmonized version, yes, you might not have seen it openly, but anybody that is disputing that no, the harmonized version is what the president said. As the person also come with the harmonized version, if somebody is accusing you of something and you saying no, it is not. I feel as a Nigerian, you will want to come out with your full chest, to come out with the harmonized version, even if those who are saying they were atrocious were not coming out with their own harmonized version. You should be able to come out with your full chest. But I think what they're trying to do is that to minimize where the bullets will land when they eventually land. What the task committee, the gazetted, what that one has just done, any law that has this kind of alteration is, there is no argument about, there is no against saying it automatically becomes null and void. So you can't suspend something that the alteration had make rendered it void and null. You can't suspend the implementation. Somebody was trying to talk about the implementation of the 5% fuel tax. That one, the law had been passed. They only suspend the implementation. There was no alteration. There was no material difference from the law. But this one, there is material alteration to the law, which invariably has rendered it null and void. So there's nothing to even try to adjust. It's either they take it back to the House, they would go all over again. Once let's say they want to even correct whatever alteration and put exactly what the lawmakers said they passed, they will have to vote again and make it will become a bill. They will vote again to make it an act. That is like going back to square one. That is what they will do. Or at least I expect heads to rule. And for me, an average person in the committee could not be as guilty as the head of the committee. So number one culprit should be Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, because it's the head. And maybe there were people who also instructed him or who also said this is what we will do. Because those alterations are deliberate insertion. Are you the mic?
All right. Thank you very much, Daddy B. Okay, Adam Mogo, do you want to quickly engage Macron so we can move on?
No, my question to Martin is, the question to Martin is, you mentioned earlier that we should put some things on ChatGPT. I just want him to state them out so I can put them on ChatGPT and check for those things that he said.
All right, Macron, did you hear his question?
Yeah, so I will direct that question to Daddy B, who has seen a copy of the harmonized version and the gazetted, to give us a list of the alteration. And we're also waiting for Dr. Aminu Kano, who has said that. Adamimo, please, now, I did not interject you. I'm not the only person here. You ask the question so that everybody is going to see the answer. Dr. Aminu Kano,
But you're not answering the question now. You're not answering the question.
I don't know, please. So I did not interject you when you were giving your Almaji insight. You know, when we're talking of Quran and
Where they ask,
please, this one
where
is
they ask
beyond
the
you
question.
now.
Answer the question. Almighty don't behave. If they were different people, Almighty don't behave like that. They will go to sleep.
All right. So I promise you guys, some people have been messaging me that, guys, you too, they calm. Why? They allow violence sometimes. But I have to respect Dr. Aminu. You know, this is a refined gentleman that should not be experiencing such on my space. Don't chase away guests. So I will not allow this. Okay. Thank you. I don't think Macno has answers to your question, Adam Mogo. Should we move on?
You don't think when I was cut short, or you don't want me to speak?
You were not answering the question when you were cut short, so I don't understand. It's a double mute.
I was asking the question now. I said that Dr. Aminu has given us certain lists: petrol income tax, removal of VAT from petroleum products. Some people have talked about 20% deposit before tax appeal. Some have talked about arrest being present in the Nigerian Tax Act. Some have talked about 25 million naira threshold for small businesses. And I said, all of this, Dr. Aminu has said that he's going to give us a comprehensive list. That he's talked that 28% of the, which one was it? Of the NRS Establishment Act, that
full of alteration, and and at that point he got tired, and he said that tomorrow, which is my
No,
birthday,
I'm here.
is going to be my
I
birthday
will
gift.
do it now. I said when people are speaking,
Yes, sir.
I will keep it
So,
now if
so
you
that, I
guys
mean,
are
put
ready.
it in a text for us, like a Word
No,
document, and let us have a Google Drive link to it.
I will think about
Okay,
it. Yes.
so sorry,
Thank you, my brother.
sorry, doctor. So again, that's why I said you not answer Adam, because Adam was asking about what you said you did. Because you said you had gotten some documents, you have put it on chat. So he was asking
I've
you
told you
what
the
were
things
the
I did now.
documents
The
you put
20%,
on
the
chat.
arrest, I've done the 20%, I've done the arrest, and I've done the definition of a small business.
Is they ask say which document you
Nigerian Tax
load for
Act.
chat?
Nigerian Tax Act.
Yeah,
That's what I
that's the
said.
question.
I've answered him in the comment
Farabalẹ̀.
section. Don't mind that. Adamimogo.
Arrest and
Don't mind it.
We can't hear you, Adam Mogo.
20% arrest and what else?
Definition of a small business in terms of threshold. Threshold for being taxable, whether vatable or CIT.
No problem. I'll check it out.
Then the third one is arrest. Arrest, saying that people are going to get arrested. This in the Nigerian Tax Act. So in the Nigerian Tax Administrative Act that you rightly pointed out is there. But what they were saying then initially was the Nigerian Tax Act. So for me, you cannot do it across all the 4 documents. And Dr. Aminu, I think, is in the best position to give us this operation. He is gatekeeping the 2 versions, to protect his own members who are also involved in forgery and alteration. I'm just saying.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Adam Mogo. All right. Let's move on quickly. Dr. Aminu, don't worry, we'll come back shortly. Sorry.
I don't understand.
All right. I think he said he was done, right? Okay. Let's move on quickly. I should put you back on the queue.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Before we go back to Dr. Aminu, let's have Ilya next. I think he seems to be the only one on the speaker that has not spoken at any point in time. So Ilya next, please go on.
Yeah, DG. Good afternoon to everybody. Good afternoon, Dr. Aminu, longest time. Firstly, I want to say that the protest, I really do not understand what happened, honestly speaking. We have to be frank with ourselves. Sometimes it's good we tell ourselves the truth. Even though we have non-opposition members on the states and it's not good to much as they're telling it, but we have to tell ourselves the truth. For those people who are on ground, Yusuf, Adami Mugu, and some other people that are on ground here, what the vibe I am feeling on street
So
is not
I have
what
seen
is
one.
on ground.
Sorry, please, in the next. I have seen one occasion. I don't know if I was permitted to read that out. I went to check it.
Wait. You know, say Dr. Aminu 7 tell us alterations. So just yourself, just the note all the alterations. Let's have the next speak, and then we will now deal with those alterations together. All right, next, please go.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll tell you guys to go. I'm very fast. So